And our first big story for the day, the Prime Minister has arrived for the BJP Parliamentary meeting. This is the key BJP meeting ahead of the budget session's continuance. Remember, the budget session of the Parliament continues to witness much ruckus after the Hindenburg research report on Adani stocks, in which the research report accused the Adani Group of stock manipulation. After that, there have been multiple scenes of ruckus, with the opposition demanding either a JPC, that is a Joint Parliamentary Committee probe, or a Supreme Court monitored probe on the entire issue. Remember, the government has over the last few days continued to maintain that this is a corporate story. The visuals we're playing for you right now on your screens, Prime Minister Modi, accompanied on his right by JP Nadda. And as you can see over there, I think the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman was also present there for a second. Now, these meetings are particularly important because the BJP is going to be chalking out, there we go, that is the Finance Ministers, Nirmala Sitharaman. Let's go over very quickly to my colleague Arunima for more context on this entire story. Arunima, visuals of the Prime Minister and earlier the Finance Minister getting garlanded. Right now the camera focusing on the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. But tell us more about updates that are coming in from the parliamentary meeting.
So the BJP Parliamentary Party meeting is always a chance for the Prime Minister to express to the members of Parliament as to what really is his vision as far as that particular session is concerned. Earlier, we have seen him speak out on important issues of urgent public importance when JP Nadda was given another term. That felicitation also happened here. And now you're seeing the Finance Minister being garlanded, which gives you a clear indication that as far as the budget is concerned, BJP is quite upbeat about the response that the budget has garnered. And the Finance Minister is getting the felicitation for that. The Prime Minister is expected to give that message as well to the parliamentarians. There are also elections around the corner, elections on just on the anvil in Tripura and other parts as well. So what is the message that should be taken by the MPs? Already BJP has formulated a team, and senior members of the party are fanning out across the country with the message that budget has tried to give, especially as far as BJP's social engineering is concerned, the scheduled caste, the scheduled tribe, the OBC. So those messages will be underlined once again at this BJP Parliamentary Party meeting.
Okay, Arunima, thank you. Let's go very quickly to my colleague Pallavi, who's also with us live on this. Pallavi, we've been coming to you on what to expect from the Parliament today again and again. Now, in the last few minutes, what we have talked about is what the opposition's approach is going to be. How is the BJP planning to tackle this? Do we have any information?
Well, if you look at the BJP strategy since late evening, I think they've firmed up their strategy already. First of all, trying to show the mirror to the opposition. Many of their spokespersons are usually using their social media timeline. They are also using their tweets and making statements pointing out the fact that many of the opposition leaders who today are raising questions over the Adanis have themselves hobnobbed with him, also had business relationships with him. For example, examples of Ashok Gehlot is being thrown up, that of Mamata Banerjee is also being thrown up. So that's the one tactical kind of a defense which is now being built up by the BJP as a political party, as a counter to the opposition. Second, in terms of the government, well, they've said what they had to say. Reassurance to the investors, Adani's own steps himself. Yesterday, if you remember, money was being put back and paying back the money even before the September 2024 payback time ends. Again, an attempt by the Adani groups to reassure its investors. And I think this nudge also comes in from the government, where the government has also given instances of the RBI statement and that of the SBI to make the point that all is well with the economy. I think the biggest reassurance which could possibly come has really come in from the Finance Minister herself. She said that in her interview to us as well, that the banking sector is robust, the economic growth story is fine, and nothing has been affected. Therefore, this is a needless controversy which is being stoked by the opposition because they don't want the parliament to run.
But Pallavi, I do want to understand, particularly because we keep seeing the markets continue to react to all of these developments. Yesterday, I believe the market opened flat but went red very quickly. Because of that, can we expect at all the Finance Minister to perhaps address this once again?
Well, I mean, directly the finance ministry doesn't get involved as far as stock markets are concerned. But when you have statements coming in from the RBI, from the SBI, and from the finance minister herself, and also from the government that everything is fine, I think that's also a nudge to the investors and to the markets as well. That please don't be in the red. I mean, just have confidence. There are several confidence building measures which are now being announced by the Adani Enterprises, which is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the late last night development when they decided to pay back ahead of the September 2024 deadline. And the only reason is because Adani Enterprises wants to send out this signal to the market that we have the money. We are not bankrupt. We want to reassure investors that all is well, continue to invest with us. These things do take time, Toya, but of course the government will be watching very, very carefully, as with the RBI, how the market starts reacting to these measures which are being announced by the Adani Industries.
Okay, let's just take a quick step back from this, Pallavi. Now, if you could tell us more about what the opposition's plan is for the rest of the day today. I know that one of the particularly interesting things you've been pointing out in the last few hours is the fact that though the opposition seems to have a common goal, there does seem to be a difference in the tactics they want to use.
Absolutely, Toya. There is an agreement on the larger goal, which is we have to ask the government to answer those questions on Adani's. But the difference comes in strategy, and that usually pulls down any semblance of opposition unity. Even as we speak, the opposition meeting has begun, and this is only going to be an attempt by both the Congress party and some of the other ingredients of the opposition party to convince parties like the RJD, the SP, the BRS, the AAP, which still thinks that protests must continue. Now, it's a catch-22 situation. They want to raise the Adani issue, but the Adani issue will not be allowed to have a debate and discussion specifically on it. But what Congress leaders are telling me as the TMC, that let's have the motion of thanks, because after all, we have to have it. That's the respect you give to the president's office. Second is, to quote a Congress leader, Toya, it's very seldom that the Prime Minister speaks. So when the Prime Minister is going to respond to the motion of thanks, that's going to be our moment to confront him and gherao him. And why miss that moment? So in that meeting, I think they're going to re-strategize. They're going to try and convince the BRS, the SP, RJD and AAP that let's shelve our protest for today. We'll allow the motion of thanks and we'll seize the opportunity, and we'll definitely ask questions on the issue.
Any indication at all from sources, Pallavi, on what the motion of thanks could contain when it comes to this entire controversy? I know that as you just started, when we just started talking, you just implied that the government has already made multiple statements. You've had the RBI, for example, come forward and say there's no need to panic. Can we very much expect much more of that when the Prime Minister speaks today, or do we not have any indication?
So the motion of thanks is essentially every leader, according to political parties and the strength of the political party, responding to the president's speech. Now, president's speech is essentially a kind of a outlining of what is the agenda and what has been the task done for the government. So every political party is going to get a chance to speak depending on its strength. They have one or more than one speakers. So, for example, very quickly, Toya, the president made a reference to economic growth story. Political parties can always start questioning that if they are in the opposition and so on and so forth. The end of this motion of thanks, which usually lasts for a day or 2 days, is given by the Prime Minister, who responds to the motion of thanks. Now, this becomes a political opportunity. This becomes a political platform. Opposition parties will certainly question and corner the government. I'm sure they're going to use this opportunity, if that house functions, to actually question the government over the so-called the allegation on the Adani Enterprises and so on and so forth. We'll have to see whether any response comes in from the Prime Minister specifically to this. Usually not. But someone else from the government does. I mean, as I said, as a political party, the BJP will have more than one speaker. So maybe that reference is made. And as I said, I mean, the opposition parties, most of them think that this should be an opportunity which should not be missed.
Okay, Pallavi, do stay with us. I just want to take our audiences to another breaking, and then we'll come back to you.